I am joined right now by very senior Congress veteran, Mr. P Chidambaram, Rajya Sabha MP from the Congress as well. Mr. Chidambaram, appreciate you taking the time out and joining us, sir. One big question, Mr. Chidambaram, that is being asked is, this 5-month Bharat Jodo Yatra is the ultimate aim 2024?
Why are you jumping to 2024? Are you not familiar with the problems that India faced in 2022 and the problems that we will face in 2023? If this divisiveness, a divisive campaign, pitting religion against religion, pitting language against language, and imposing the idea of one India, gains strength in the remaining months of this year and the next year, India will be in a terrible state of affairs by 2024. We are not even looking at 2024. We are trying to prevent a catastrophe in 2024.
Mr. Chidambaram, you have every right, sir, to say that one should look at what's happening immediately. But the reason I said 2024 primarily stems from the fact that it is 2022. You have two elections coming in the state of Himachal and Gujarat. You have skin in the game in both states, yet this yatra is not going into these states.
Did the Congress party think of an election in 1942 when it said, quit India, or in Hindi, Bharat Jodo? We are not looking at elections today, and that's the point I'm trying to make. We are not looking at state elections or central elections. We are looking at the disaster that the country faces, and just as in when Bharat Jodo, now saying Bharat Jodo.
But Mr. Chidambaram, sir, the fact is the Congress is still a political party. Isn't it your business to fight and win elections? That's the true, I would reckon, the testament of what your electorate wants.
I can only be sorry for you if you're so obsessed with elections. Why don't you be obsessed with the control of the media? Why don't you be obsessed with the divisive campaign? Why don't you be obsessed with the hate campaign? Why don't you be obsessed with the oppression against Dalits, women, girls, children? Why don't you be a little more obsessed about those things first? And then we can talk about elections. This is the third question you're asking about elections. This is the third answer I'm giving. Let's keep elections aside. Let's face the catastrophe that India will head to thanks to the BJP.
Mr. Chidambaram, at least at India Today, we are hoping to focus on every possible issue, not be obsessed with them, but do right as per our profession. But the other question, Mr. Chidambaram, that is being raised, and not without reason, is the fact that is the Bharat Jodo Yatra, because there's a lot going on in the backdrop. You have elections in the Congress coming up in exactly a month from now. Is this an attempt to possibly repackage, relaunch Rahul Gandhi?
Again, you are obviously very narrowly focused. You're not concerned about the plight of thousands and thousands of people. You're not bothered about inflation. You're not bothered about unemployment. You're not bothered about poverty. You're not bothered about the MSMEs shutting down. You don't seem to be bothered about. But I can't share your narrow position. I'm concerned about these things. And what we are trying to do is tell the people that this country is being divided by the and this is a time to unite the country. Unite the country, religions, across castes, across languages, across races, across states, the time to unite the country and make all the people feel and believe that they belong to one country.
But Mr. Chidambaram, as myopic as, you might say that it might be for me to ask you, but the fact is the ultimate aim of the Bharat Jodo Yatra would be electoral dividends, wouldn't it be?
The ultimate aim of the Bharat Jodo Yatra is indeed to get rid of the divisive agenda of the BJP. And if the divisive agenda of the BJP leads to the defeat of the BJP, so be it. All the better.
But sir, wouldn't the test...
But we have to get rid of the divisive agenda of the BJP. And I want to see you on television at least say once that the BJP has a divisive agenda.
Sir, I don't belong to any political party. I'm not you. You're free to say that. Right.
You don't have to belong to a political party. But if you don't think that the BJP has a divisive agenda today, you're not being a completely objective journalist.
Sir, we report on stories that we must, and we do write by them. Is all that I can say right now. But
No,
Mr. Chid
I appreciate that. But I'd like you to utter the words, divisive agenda of anyone is to be rejected.
So when when a story, when a news report, when an event is divisive, we do call out for it being divisive. And it could be any political party, sir. It could be the Bharatiya Janata Party, it could be the Congress, it could be the TMC. I would reckon that's our job, and you think that would be the right thing to do.
Was it not a divisive agenda to divide the state of Jammu and Kashmir? It united as one state under one Maharaja. He signed one instrument of accession, and he ceded the whole of the state of Jammu and Kashmir to the Indian Union under certain terms. Was it not a divisive agenda to break up that state into union territories? Have you called that out? I wish you. I can give you a dozen divisive agendas, but I'm giving you the most recent example.
So there are multiple points of views on that. Some would be completely contradictory to what you're saying, and those are held by Indians as well. So I would reckon, for us, it would be to give voice to each aspect and to each person who would want to, air out their views. And you're doing that, right.
Shall we divide all the states into atomic units? Shall we divide every state into north, south, east, and west? Or with our Marathwada, Western Maharashtra, and divide Tamil Nadu into Chera, Chola, Pandya? Shall we divide the states like that? The states united. The states acceded to the Indian Union. And the state cannot be divided. And I'm asking you to call it out as a divisive agenda. You may support a divisive agenda, but nevertheless it remains...
I don't think anybody really cares about on what one or I support or don't support. Ultimately, the true test of what you call a divisive agenda would be by the people of the country. Wouldn't you reckon?
It's possible that at any given point of time, majority of the voters may support a divisive agenda, but it nevertheless remains a divisive agenda.
Well, like I said, if there is a story which is divisive, if there is a story which is polarizing, it could come from any quarter. It is our job to call that out objectively.
I'd like you to name a story which according to you is divisive.
In the current times and in the current context?
Oh, current or last month or last week. Tell me one story which you consider based on a divisive agenda, which you reported and called it out as a divisive agenda.
So I'll tell you, sir.
Yeah.
So now that it's come to be a conversation between you and I, just stay around for the next 5 minutes. I have on my show the Home Minister of Madhya Pradesh, Narottam Mishra, right there. In exactly 5 minutes, he'd be joining me live on the issue of the Bajrang Dal and the VHP activists stalling Alia Bhatt and Ranbir from entering the premises of the Ujjain temple. And,
what did the Home Minister...
Sir, do stay on. Do stay on for the next 5 minutes, you'll hear him. So I don't really have to hark back to 15 days ago, but I'll come back to ask you one final quick question, sir, before I let you go. Now, the fact is, you say that the elections are not going to be the true, test for the Congress. But the fact is, you are a Congress party, sir. You are an electoral outfit. Ultimately, you have to take your idea, your ideology, be it calling the BJP divisive, to the people. So, what is the ultimate aim of the Bharat Jodo Yatra?
I've answered it. The ultimate aim is to defeat the divisive agenda of any party, any section. And if as a result of that, there is a political change, there is a change of political government, so much better. But the idea is to defeat the divisive agenda of every or any political party or any section of the people.
Will Mr. Rahul Gandhi be consistent in doing so? Because consistency is something we haven't quite seen, sir, from him.
No, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, as far as I'm able to see, is quite determined to lead this yatra from Kanyakumari to Kashmir. He will begin tomorrow at 7 a.m. So I have no reason to doubt his word or his intention or his determination.
Do you see him as the next president? Because that's if this is a success, then he should lead your party as well.
Well, a party can have a leader and a president. Mahatma Gandhi was a leader, but there were several presidents of the INC. Jawaharlal Nehru was the acknowledged leader for 17 years after independence, but there have been several presidents of the INC. So I think we should keep a distinction between leader and president.
Sir, it's not for me. Do you keep that distinction, Mr. Chidambaram? Do you think that's a better formula for the Congress?
Whether it's a better formula or not is for the AICC delegates to decide. But I think it's quite possible to have a leader and a president. A leader who will lead the party in the forefront, lead from the front and carry the people with him, and a president who attends to the organizational matters. That's a perfectly sensible arrangement. But whether that will happen, I can't say. But all I'm pointing out is, today, if you ask the rank and file, and if you saw the pictures, the videos of the gathering in Kanyakumari, for the rank and file, the leader is Rahul Gandhi.
All right, sir. So the leader is Rahul Gandhi. Will the president be Rahul Gandhi? You've given an interesting answer there.
Maybe not. We'll wait for, it's only another 15 days away. We will know who files a nomination and who doesn't file the nomination.
Well, Mr. P Chidambaram, I appreciate you taking the time out and joining me this evening. Thank you, sir. And good luck with the Bharat Jodo Yatra. Thank you.